Hi, we're back with writing fractions as percentages. So this is really a continuation of our last lesson, but we'll call it lesson 4, even though it's still writing fractions as percentages. So let's review really quickly what we did in the last lesson. We said there were 2 ways to find or change fractions into percentages. One of those would be to know that we want to make 2/5 100 parts, and I believe I had I used something like this to show you that you can divide your paper into, so if I had 2/5, that would be 4/10, and I could make it into a 100 grid, but that would be too much work to do for each problem. So I'm going to say 5 into what goes 100 times? Well, 5 times 20 will make 100, so 2 times 20 will give me 40. This will be 40%. Over here, I'm multiplying by 100%, or 100 over 1, so I can multiply across and get 200, and multiply 5 times 1 and get 5, and 5 into 200 is 40%. 5 into 20 is 4 with 1 0. So either way here, I get 40%. So let's go ahead and what if we're dealing with more than 100 of something, or we're dealing with a bigger number? For example, what if I say there were 180 out of 300 students in a school who were playing sports? Okay, if I said 180 out of 300 students. Now, how am I going to find that percentage? So once again, I'm going to say, I can't say how many 300s will go into 100. But what I can do is I know that 300 is a multiple of 100. So how many times would I divide 300 to get 100? Well, I would divide by 3. 300 divided by 3 gives me 100. So I can divide my top number, my numerator, by 3. And now I can come up here if I needed to and go, can you see that 3 into 180? And I'm going to get 60. So I say 3 into 18 is 6. 3 into 0 is 0. Anyway, 60% is my answer here, because anything over 100 is a percentage. So that's method 1. Method 2, of course, is multiplying by 100%, or 100 over 1. So I'm going to look here, and I can do a couple things. I can actually, first I'll reduce. I know that 100 will go into 300 3 times. And then I can divide 3 into 18, or 3 into 180, which is going to give me 60. Really quickly, I could have done this a different way, just so you'll get used to how to reduce. Remember, we're trying to make this as simple or as quick as possible, instead of, because I could multiply 180 times 100 and I get 18,000, and I divide 18,000 by 300, but I can get rid of zeros if I want to. I could do this. Then I could say 10 will go into 30 3 times, and 10 will go into 100 10 times. And I could say 3 into 18 is 6, and 6 times 10 is 60. So either way, I'm going to get that 60%. All right, so I have 200 children are at a concert, and 98 of them are boys. What percent of the children are boys? So here I have 98 out of 200. And so with method 1, I'm like, how can I get that 200 to 100? Well, I can divide by 2, because 100 times 2 will give me 200. So 200 divided by 2 is 100, and I have to divide the top number by the same. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to say 2 into 98. I'm going to say 4 times 2 is 8. I'm going to subtract. I'm going to bring down. You see all that? 2 into 18 is 9. With no remainder. So I have 49% here. That's my answer. Of course, on the other side, I'm going to say 98 out of 200 times 100%, or 100 over 1. I'm going to reduce, knowing that 100 will go into 100 once and 200 twice. So this is all becomes 1. 2 into 98 is 49%. Okay, so there's 2 different ways to do that. You both, you get that. Okay, so let me ask you this. 200 children are at a concert, 98 of them are boys. We know that that's 49% are boys, right? What percent are girls? Well, all we have to do is subtract 49 from 100 to find out the girls. So 51% are girls. Alrighty, so that's how we write fractions as percentages. You are ready to do workbook exercise 19. I'm going to do just a couple more really quickly. 128 over 400. Okay. If we did that, and you can choose which method. So if we use method 2, we're going to reduce, and we're going to divide 4 into 128. 4 into 12 is 3. 4 into 8 is 2. We're going to get 32%. If you don't believe me, here we go. Bring down your 8. 4 into 8 is 2. Okay. I think you guys are getting the idea of that. Let's do another one. Let's do 255 over 500. And let's do method 1 this time. How do we get to 100? We're going to divide by 5. 5 into, so we have to divide this by 5. 5 into 25 is 5. 5 into 5 is 1. Let me show you how I did that. 5 into 2 won't go. 5 into 25 goes 5 times. Subtract. Bring down the 5. 5 into 5 goes 1. 1 times 5 is 5. Okay, so this is 51%. All right, so have fun doing exercise 19, and I will get back to you when we are ready to move on. Bye-bye.